What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video and to the channel. First of all, thank you so much for the massive support. It's been crazy to see the responses on my YouTube channel, the comments, and my DMs on Instagram is just flooding with questions. And guys, I am here to help and serve in any way that I can. And just making videos like this and giving you guys value is what I'm doing here. This is why I'm here, really. To give you value, to give you content, so that way you can make the right decision on how you want to build or choose the right BMW, right? So anyways, guys, I want to answer the most asked question on my Instagram and YouTube channel, which is the N20 a reliable motor? Let's get to it. So many of you may know that the BMW 320i and the 328i share the same motor name, N20, right? The N20 was developed to become an economical motor, which basically means BMW said, let's make a small motor that's economically driven to save gas and low maintenance costs for BMW consumers. Now, this, in my opinion, is not like the ultimate driving machine motor like you would see on like an N55 or a B58 or an S motor, right? No, this is an economical motor. It's meant to be the daily driver car. Why? Because it's a small motor, saves you a ton of gas, and honestly, if you look at the engine bay and you remove the engine cover, you'll see that it's easy to get a hold of just components all around the motor. It's super accessible. I mean, I changed my diverter valve alone in like a couple of hours, and if that, because I had the wrong wrench. So if you have the right tools, it'll probably take like 2 hours, but it's right there. I just had to remove the intake, and bam, I see the turbo, I see the diverter valve, and I could just easily get it out. So you're saving a lot of money on maintenance, because most mechanics will charge you around 120, 150 an hour, and that could easily be a 4-hour job on a B58, like right behind me, because if you look at the B58's motor, it's so compact. You have to remove the intake, the charge pipe, you gotta remove the boost pipe, you gotta remove a ton of components to get to one part, and that could add more to the labor time. And also, you're paying $150 an hour, guys, for the labor. Multiply that by 4, you're around $400 to $600 for just the cost of labor, not including the part. So maybe you may be around $1,000 for just one component that you could have changed yourself, right? So anyways, to my point, the N20 motor was made to be economical, right? To save the consumer money. I think my light just turned on. That was great. Let me turn that on again. I want to be brief about this video because I made a lot of videos on comparisons between the 320 and the 320i. There's a lot of like just old trolls. And guys, hey, shout out to my trolls. My channel would not be where it's at without you. So thank you for trolling and continue to troll on my comments. But anyways, guys, yes. Is the N20 reliable motor? Yes, it is. I would tell you that right now. It's a very, very reliable and economical motor if you're using it for what it was intended to be made, which is taking you to work and back, driving long distances and saving a lot of money on gas. Yes, it's a beautiful car. I had it for 2 years and it was a beautiful car. I decided to go crazy and just really build it. I changed the charge pipe, boost pipe, diverter valve, intake. I tuned it. And it was a very, very fun project. I did everything myself. I did not go to a mechanic because guess what? The motor is accessible to all the parts you can get into. Now, the only problem that I faced was when I tuned it. Now, there's a lot of debate out there, but I'm gonna share with you what I've experienced myself and also a lot of my friends in the community shared with me as well. The N20 motor on the 320i is totally different than the 328 on how it was built internally. It's still the same size, maybe the same housing and everything else, but the internals are slightly different, which is why the 328 can possibly handle a tune a little differently than the 320i. If you were to put both motors from a 320 and a 328i side by side and you open them up, you will see things are built a little bit differently, slightly differently, more durability, I would say. Bigger camshafts, different rods and pistons on a 328 than it is on a 320i. Now, why do they do that? Well, the 328i has more horsepower. It's not just by a tune. You put a tune in, you got to reinforce it with stronger parts. So to not get into like a bigger motor like a B58 or an N55 or N54, they decided to just change a few components, like a stronger camshaft, different rods and pistons. Now they did that so it can sustain the different amount of tune the different tune that was implemented on the 328. Now, this causes a few things because you're familiar with other channels, people that have tuned the 328, and they're not facing the same issues as a 320i. It's because of that. It can handle a tune a lot different. I follow this guy on YouTube, you know, John from Thick Whips. Back then it was Thick F30, and he built his 328i. And he tuned it, I believe, to stage 2. He sold it, and that guy that has it now has not posted that he blew his motor like the 320i's that I've seen, and even my own, that blew up on a stage 1 tune, right? Different story here, guys. The N20, if you tune it, be careful, I would say, especially if you're under the year of March 2013. If you're under that production year, be careful because the timing guides go off on those cars, and it's a very known thing on those 320i's, 328s under production year date of March 2013. Just get the timing guide changed and you'll be fine, hopefully. But if you tune the 320i, just be wary that those motors are not meant to be tuned. They're economically driven for those that want to save money on gas and commute, basically. If you go aside from that, honestly, if you want to tune, I would just go into a B58 or a bigger motor because the N20 will give you problems. Now, the N20 is a fun motor to learn how to build your car. Aside from the tune, you can change the charge pipe, boost pipe, diverter valve, intake, the cooler. I mean, you can do so many things to that motor aside from the tune and have fun with your car. If you're planning on tuning, it's because you're horsepower driven, or maybe you just want those pops and bangs, right? But honestly, guys, if you want to tune and have fun, go to a bigger motor, a more reliable motor that can sustain the amount of compression and the amount of power that you're throwing into because of a tune. Now, I am holding back from tuning my B58, even though I know my B58 can handle it. Sorry, my dog is here, he's just going crazy. My B58 can definitely handle a tune, but I'm gonna wait until the warranty is up, because you never know, something else may happen to the car, and if I tune it, then BMW will void my warranty, right? So guys, the N20 is a reliable motor if you're using it for what it was intended to do, which was drive you from point A to point B and save you a ton of money on gas and maintenance costs. If you go aside from that, tune it, or even if you go to the track, I would be wary, because those cars cannot handle being on the track. You gotta change a few things. Like, for one of the things is the oil pan on the F30s. The oil pan, they're not meant to sustain, you know, like crazy G-forces on turns. If you go on the track and you're on one side for too long, the oil will switch to one side and you're gonna just dry out the motor from oil starvation. That's why the S engines have a baffle type of oil pan where no matter where you go in the car, no matter how hard your turns are, there's oil always dripping in and you're never gonna starve the motor. If you take your N20 motor, or anything under an S engine, I would say, to the track, you may blow your motor because you're gonna starve it from oil. Look it up, do some research in your car before you wanna fix it, tune it, whatever you wanna do, because honestly, guys, that's the best way to go about it. And if you do tune your N20, keep an eye on the diagnostics. I mean, honestly, every morning when you start it up, you wanna check your diagnostics on the N20 motor. Make sure you're not knocking on any cylinder, you're not misfiring on any cylinder, and that there's no low compression on those cylinders, because if that happens, guys, I would pull over immediately and address that issue real quick, because you don't want to be driving on an N20 motor with a knock, misfire, or low compression on the cylinder, because then you'll bore the cylinder head and you'll blow the motor. Trust me, that's what happened to me. So anyways, guys, I hope that this brought you value. Again, the N20 motor is a fun motor to have fun with. It's a fun car to play with, to learn how to work on a BMW. If you tune it, be careful, really be careful. Anything above an N20 motor, maybe the 328 may handle the tune a lot better. But anyways, all I have to say is thank you for the time, guys. I hope that this brought you value. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next week. And if you have a question, you know what to do. Drop a comment or DM me on Instagram. I'll see you, family.